my door's open, wide. Hey mate, like you're a great fighter. Let's do it. Problem is, then it ends up like you're begging these guys to fight. You're meant to be a boogeyman. The way I look at it is, all right, listen, some people aren't the right.
Charlotte Daly of Male Sport Boxing, joined by Lawrence Okolie.
Yes.
In the heat in Dubai. How are you doing?
I'm well. Just I enjoy the heat, to be fair. I enjoy how it makes me feel. I enjoy how it makes everyone act. It's maybe a little bit too hot today, but overall I prefer it to the cold.
I honestly don't know how you do it. I walk outside and I already start sweating.
Oh yeah, it's instant. You got to plan everything. How far away is the car or the transport? Is how long does it take to get from the car into the AC? But once you get those things sorted, it's easy.
In terms of training though, it must be adjustment training over here because it's so hot.
Yeah.
And the minute you do any sort of exercise, you're just dripping in sweat.
100%. It would have been better when I was cruiserweight, making weight, definitely. But now I just have to stay hydrated throughout the sessions, focus a lot more on that stuff. But it kind of pushes you, it makes you work harder in sessions because when you're hot, your body's fighting to cool itself down. But when you get into fight night, it's very hot with the lights and the intensity. So it's good prep.
Talking of fighting and prep, you know, in your last fight you sustained an injury.
Yeah.
Just give me an update on how you've recovered and how you're doing
now.
now.
I recovered well. I took rehab very seriously. I had the surgery. They told me it would take 3 or 4 months. So I was ahead of schedule. So now my arms are 100% and I'm back punching and going to get into sparring this week and it's basically like not like it never happened, but it's like it's over now.
You've said before that Kabayel is the person that you want to fight. Is that something that you think could be on the cards for next, or do you think you need the
No, I would hope it's
first?
next. You know, for me, it's like my whole career has been whatever the best thing I can get is what I go for. That's why I was able to become world champion in such a short time. Before that, British, Commonwealth, European, then moved up to Bridgerweight, world champion, heavyweight. Okay, let's get to the world title as quickly as possible. So beating him is either going to be for a world title or put me in line to get my world title shot at heavyweight. So that's one I'm gunning for. He hasn't got an opponent for January. I just saw he did an interview yesterday. He calling himself the boogeyman and no one wants to fight him. And I'm like, I've been, hey, I'll do it. And again yesterday, hey, I'll do it. So it's the one I want. I think you get a lot of, look, right now everyone considers him a top 3. Mate, he might be able to beat Usyk. He might be, and it's like, I'm not in a trash talking way, but I don't see him like that. I see him as just a good heavyweight. So, I fancy my chances, and it's the one I want.
Have conversations gone on then?
Well, from what I see, what he said, it's what I hear about him. Not like as like, oh yeah, no, they don't really, they're looking at different directions, and I'm just like, okay, well, if you've looked in different directions, that's fine. Do it, look. But you've looked and every door's shut in your face. My door's open, wide. Hey mate, like you're a great fighter. Let's do it. But the problem is, then it ends up like you're begging these guys to fight, and it's like you're meant to be a boogeyman. And I just think the way I look at it is, all right, listen, some people aren't the right. Usyk aren't the right. There's some people you never hear me call out because you have to be in the right position. Usyk's, Tyson Fury's, AJ's, you kind of leave them, they've earned, the right, whether it's with their wins, whether it's with the amount of money that they generate in fights. But everyone else, Kabayel's, Parker, obviously now he's boxing Wardley, Okolie's, basically all the other guys, you got to box each other, but it seems like everyone's waiting for Turkey to hold their hand, go to Riyadh to put on these fights. Because when you look at the times when all the heavyweights were boxed each other, it was Riyadh season was behind it and people were getting paid a fortune. But the problem is, if you kind of wait on that consistently, divisions get held up, they become stale because fighters aren't fighting each other. And for me, like, we've all made money from boxing. Like anyone that's a top heavyweight's made money. So it's not even about that so much. It's about fighting to become champions. And also, you have these fights and you win them fights, you end up getting to that, superstar status, But I think a lot of people are missing the trick and trying to jump from miss that middle step and just go straight into the big fights. Yeah, basically like that. You know,
Yeah.
just I'll box AJ. It's like, you know, like box each other and then become your own version of AJ or get those type of fights.
Do you think that surprised you the most when you came up to heavyweight?
100%. You know what I thought? I thought at cruiserweight, you know, when I was at the peak of my cruiserweight physique and strength and power, and that, I was still able to get fights. Because I was world champion, and I would always say yes to whoever was available. But I felt like people wanted to be champion, but I kind of got it because if the people didn't want to fight me, it's because I was so big and dangerous for cruiserweight. When I went to bridgerweight, the champion thought, he's only coming up from cruiserweight, so, and then I, you know, dealt with him how I dealt with him. I thought at heavyweight, at least, whether or not you like fighting hard fights, they would look at me and say, he's a cruiserweight, really. Like, I wouldn't have the same kind of effects. Like, so, cutting long story short, say I was world champion or really highly ranked as a cruiserweight, and a light heavyweight or a super middleweight came up, whatever I fought them, I'd be like, they're just a super middleweight, and then I'd be more, well up for fighting them more than maybe a heavyweight coming down. So I thought when I moved up, I'd get, like, a lot of people would just be like, he's ranked highly, he's been a world champion, he's a good name in the UK. Yeah, I'll do that, but no, not been the case.
Do you think it's too much kind of smoke and mirrors that people project out that they look like they want the fights, but actually when it comes down to it and those negotiations happen behind the scenes, they won't take
100%.
it?
Listen, Frank Warren's been in interviews consistently saying Lawrence Okolie has said yes to every single fight that's been offered our way. No one wants to fight him. And as a boxer, I understand that, but fans might not get it in the sense of like, you'll just, mate, he'll smash him, and there's no way he'll say no. But it's like, I'm actually here having the conversations behind closed doors, and it's like, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked is what I would say.
It's a frustrating part of the business, I guess.
Kind of, like, it's like, do you know what it is? Like, fortunately, there's also the other side of the game. Obviously, I'm a good businessman outside of it, so it's also about leveraging position. So I understood that, listen, when I moved up, I thought this fight would happen, that fight would happen, and but it don't happen like that. So unfortunately, if that's where governing bodies and stuff like that come in handy, where it's like, okay, I've boxed, like, for example, the last fight I had was against Kevin Lorena, solid campaigner, a current world champion at bridgerweight, WBC. You win that type of fight, it's like, yo, I just beat a WBC champion, I'm a WBC silver champion, WBC, hey, mandate something, make it happen. And then that's how people get forced into positions. Otherwise, people just hang around waiting for Usyk, waiting for Tyson Fury, waiting, holding everything up on a hope and a prayer that they get those fights. And then, like, not only do the fans miss out, but the fighters miss out on opportunities. You'll never see me kind of, like... Anyway, time will tell.
Obviously, you want Kabayel as the next opponent, but let's say that doesn't happen. And I know you've just said there that you'll take anyone, but who would you want? What would kind of the top three then be that you would want to face?
I think, if not... I think world titles. So, I think right now there's... Dan Dubois is like IBF final eliminator potentially with F.A. Jagbar. If Frank Sanchez, sorry, you know, they always chop and change who says yes. But anyway, let's say it was Frank Sanchez, and that fight didn't happen. Either one of them. So whether it's Dan Dubois, who would be the one I want more as a, you know, former heavyweight world champion, and that win would definitely get you in line for a world title. So that would be my number one behind Kabayel. Who else is there? The winner of Parker Wardley is a fantastic one because they're WBO, and I want to say, what's Parker again? WBO and WBA. Yeah, so Parker's WBO interim, and what's name's WBA. So the winner of that fight is top of my list. I mean, I was meant to fight Parker as a stand-in when the Dan Dubois fight didn't happen. I was bags packed on my way, and then they went with Okolie, which ended up being a good choice for them. So the top ones: Wardley, Parker, Dan Dubois, and Kabayel. And the good thing is I'm ranked number one with the WBC, so those fights are guaranteed to happen. And as I said, I mean, we've actually been offered a fight with one of those guys. I won't say which one now. I don't know if it's allowed, but we've already accepted. So it's just about seeing how stuff goes.
Interesting. I'm trying to do the math and figure out who that is. You mentioned there about Parker and Wardley. You've sparred both of them, haven't you?
Yes.
How did those rounds go? And I know there's only so much you can take from sparring, but what does that make you think about their fight and how that will play out?
It's a bit difficult because I sparred Wardley many years ago. In terms of, it must have been at least 3-4 years ago. It's not the current Wardley that we have now. Number one, I sparred Parker maybe 2 years ago or a year and whatever.
Yeah.
When he was boxing Wilder. I've learned you can't take much from sparring anymore. But in terms of I would put Parker as the favourite because stylistically I think Wardley struggles with sound boxers. We've seen I don't know if it was Nathan Gorman, although he stopped them.
Yeah.
He struggles up until the point of the knockout, and a lot of time knockouts cause amnesia. So both ways as well. But anyway, knockouts cause amnesia in the sense of, all right, cool. He boxed Fraser. They had a fight of the year. Wow, back and forth. Fraser's landing uppercuts. Fraser's landing. Fabio's dropped him, and then it was a draw. And it's like, okay, Fabio was the fitter, more explosive athlete, and he won based on like grit and power and drew that fight, even though he dropped what's the name, it's a draw. Anyway, and then he knocked him out in one round. So you forget their first fight and how boxing was. Same with the only thing, the Honey one is recent, and it was such a clear, like it's hard to forget he was losing every round until he got the knockout. So you go in against someone like Parker, who's a lot more experienced, a boxer, really good at coming back from even getting knocked down. So he's been knocked down by Zhang, got up and still won that fight. He's been in there with big punches, AJ. He's been in with everyone. So he's super experienced. So the power of Wardley's not gonna unsettle him, and I can't see it being a one shot and Parker's gone. However, I do think that Parker hasn't had many rounds recently. So although he's had big wins, as in he's beaten Wilder, he's beaten Zhang, he KO'd Okolie, in terms of rounds, he's had maybe 2 rounds in like 2 years.
Yeah.
So is that going to affect him? He's put on a little bit of weight, so it might make him stronger, but his main asset, I think, has always been speed and boxing ability. So it'll be interesting to see how they mesh, because if he is a bit more static, Wardley has a chance of getting to him.
Another person I'm going to ask you about, who you have also sparred, is Moses Itauma. He's going to be back in action in December as well. He came from school, didn't he, to spar you? About 15 years old, wasn't he?
Yeah, 15, 16. Honestly, when I think about it now, it's insane, because I know I wasn't able to do that at 15, 16, I'll tell you that much. But listen, like, it'll be disingenuous to say that he's not like a freak talent, like especially at his age and mindset, to be fair. So yeah, he was special then, and I think he's still got that special factor now.
We saw what Daniel Dubois was able to do against Anthony Joshua. What do you think would happen if you threw someone like Moses in with like an AJ now?
I think it'll be.
You laugh.
I don't know. It's good. It'll be good. You know what it is? It's like, I rate Moses, like I really do, and I just think the only thing to be tested is conditioning and getting shots back. AJ is a tried and tested, former unified champion. So it depends what happens after the first few rounds. Do you know what I mean? It'll be exciting. And it's crazy to think that you could say a 20-year-old versus any of these top guys, but I think it would be it'll be exciting. I know they're trained by the same coach, so I don't think it's likely, but it's tough. It's tough.
If anyone could, Moses could make it happen. Obviously, we've got Chris Eubank Jr. at the moment. He's out in Dubai training. We happened to actually be in the gym with him last night as he was going through one of his sessions. What did you make of how he was looking in the gym and the rematch with Conor Benn?
I'm never usually in the gym with him, so it was actually interesting to see how they work. I know it was more of a you guys were there and he's not going to show everything, but They're working. I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't know how old he is, 35, 36 years old, still able to push himself like that. It was interesting to see. I do like Bomac's philosophy to training fighters. Do you know what I mean? Because I could overhear what he was saying, and it was really. I like the philosophy, and I think it's a philosophy that's going to help Chris in this fight, or he's going to need to adopt it to win this fight, especially with someone as young and like hungry as Conor Benn in a rematch.
How much is Conor Benn going to have to try and control those emotions going into the rematch? Because he did fight with a lot of emotion in the first fight.
I think he needs to personally. I'm not a fan of people who aren't natural boxers trying to be boxers. You know, like if you're not naturally like, I feel like a lot of personality is shown in your fight style, fight this, fight that. So I don't think Conor Benn is going to all of a sudden become a masterful, boxer. I'm going to jab and I'm going to slip and then I'm going to roll under, I'm going to push you to this side and push you to that side. I think his main thing is being intense. Obviously good, like natural reactions to slip out of punches, roll under, come back with combinations. He's going to need to be that plus, as opposed to changing and jabbing and like he doesn't have the height advantage, the reach advantage, or the weight advantage. So I don't see him outboxing him. He has to outsharp him, fight him in the spurts with youth and speed and good punch placement. So I think emotions aren't necessarily a bad thing. He just needs to be consistent.
Well, before I let you go, just want to ask, what does 2026 look like for Lawrence Okolie? Obviously out in December 2025,
yeah. But
then 2026, is it all about activity? What are you thinking?
No, it's about world title. However, it's like, it's world title. It's like, every year I've been a world champion except for this year. This year I have to settle with WBC silver, I'll take it. But next year, it's on world title 100%.
It's coming for everyone. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.